An over-leveraged market. If wishes were Lamborghinis, then beggars would ride. Now we're going to look at some of the bad habits that have been practiced by individuals and institutions due to pure greed that have eventually led to a spillover and some hard-to-learn lessons that will probably be important for us in the future. So we're also going to look at some charts that are going to sort of help us understand what the current crypto market sentiment is, and we look at some positive news at the end, so some crypto. So if you're into this kind of content, make sure you stay tuned for the whole video, and welcome to my channel. So the first thing we want to look at is actually this chart, which is the Wall Street cheat chart, which kind of shows you the crypto market sentiment or the market cycles, which is called the psychology of a market cycle. Now, what you're seeing on the top right corner of this chart is a general outlay of these charts, which is price against time. Now we have the peak point of maximum financial risk, so which means buying at the top. Then we have the trough, which is the point of maximum financial opportunity, which means, of course, if you buy at the bottom, if you're able to buy when prices are at the bottom, when the sentiment is negative, but you understand what your companies are building, you've done your research, then of course that's why that point is called the point of maximum return. If you buy at the top, you're just buying out of speculation, out of excitement, you're buying the news while people are selling the news. So you want to buy your research down here. So that's some sort of overlay of what the market is. Now, if you look at a breakdown of what this chart is, it's kind of touted like this. This is passed along a lot in the cryptocurrency space. Now, when you're starting off the chart, you have hope. So a recovery is possible. People are kind of possible. Then you have a retracement where you have disbelief. Then you have optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria, like what we just had with NFTs, with DeFi and all that. And then you have complacency, which comes next. We just need a little cool off. So people are like, yeah, we need a cool off in the market. It's overheated. Then you reach anxiety. Why am I getting margin calls? The dip is taking longer than expected. I think we've been through that. Denial. My investments are great companies. They will come back. I think we've kind of gone through that phase. And now, right now, we're in the phase of panic, which is everyone is selling, I need to get out of here. So which is panic, and then capitulation. So we're in that phase of panic and capitulation. I'm getting 100% out of the market. I can't afford to lose more. So we're in the panic capitulation stage, I can tell from the sentiment in the market. And eventually, if the market collapses even more, we'll reach the stage of anger where people are like, what is going on? Why are people selling? Why isn't the government intervening with this? And then, of course, we'll eventually reach depression, which is where people are like, my retirement money is gone. Unfortunately, some of these things have already happened, but, these are market cycles. And if you've done your research, then you want to have that long-term perspective when you're looking at the market, where you know that these are market cycles, these things happen. And if you have that long-term perspective in what you invested in, and you know what you're doing, then you have to believe that eventually the markets will come up. As I always say, these crypto markets, the bull markets, are normally preceded by mostly two things. The Bitcoin halvening, so where the Bitcoin reward halvens roughly every 200,000 blocks or 4 years. And the other thing is an innovation in the crypto space. If you look at 2017, there was the ICO market, so smart contracts on Ethereum, and hence you could easily mint tokens on the Ethereum blockchain. So you didn't have to learn so much about blockchain. You could easily do that. Then we had the bear market. And then the recent bear market was driven by mostly DeFi, which is kind of like ICO, but with a functionality of, you can lend, you can borrow, you can lock up your cryptos. And then we had also NFTs. So we had that institutional interest within DeFi platforms. So we saw institutions establish themselves, or rather partner with certain decentralized finance platforms like Aave, Compound on Ethereum and stuff like that. And those platforms are still there. But we're going to look at some platforms that over leverage themselves and cause some problems, hence the current chart that you're seeing. So we have companies like Coinbase. These are really established companies that also forward into the market. And that's why you're seeing this kind of article. Coinbase says it will cut out 18% of its workforce. So the cryptocurrency exchange chief executive had overhired during the bull market as adoption of crypto products was booming. So they also forward into the market. I'm not going to read this whole article. I think it's the headline says it. So there's this person that tweeted this. Later from Coinbase today, it was a good run for the last 3.5 years. It was cool to work across the organization from rebrand to product. That all said, anyone looking for a sick, nasty designer, holler. So I'm just giving a shout out to this random person. I don't know who they are, but in case you're a company out there and you're looking for someone with experience working with Coinbase, I guess reach out to this person. Maybe there might be something that might help you prepare your company during this bear market as you prepare for the bull market. You never know. So some of these laid off workers, if you have resources, you could take them on and use them to your advantage, because that's the whole point of the bear market. You want to look out for opportunities. That goes into hiring, building, and all other things. Anything you wanted to do, communicate your point, it all happens in the bear market, because in the bull market, there's way too much noise. Now, the other thing is that we want to look at is obviously this news. We have the SEC with Ripple and other companies. Now, this is Library. So this tiny blockchain startups tangle with the SEC could end up as a landmark case. Whether Library's tokens are deemed securities could set an even bigger precedent than Ripple's higher profile SEC suit. So the SEC is suing these crypto companies for selling unregistered securities because the people went into a contract with them with the expectation of profit. I personally have never entered a contract with any company. I've never expected a profit. And in the bear market, where are the governments? Where are the governments? There's companies that have been sued in the cryptocurrency space in the past. Their tokens have gone down. Raise the remuneration for the people that were, so-called supposed to be protected by the government. Anyways, I don't want to get into that because it doesn't make a lot of sense. But the funny thing is, Library has likened, well, we know in the past that Elon Musk has said he does not respect the SEC. So these are not very good people. So Library has likened the SEC's pursuit to that of the relentless French inspector Javert from Les Miserables, Gustave something. So I guess credit to this picture. So it's like the SEC is like constantly, at the back trying to pursue these people relentlessly. So that's the kind of thing that's going on. I mean, the United States hasn't done a very good job in this cryptocurrency space. The United States has set a very good precedence. I mean, not generally, but in terms of innovation and technology and the so-called American dream, of course, they've been market leaders in this space. But I think with the cryptocurrency thing, they've kind of not handled it the best way. But hopefully as we move forward, these things will be clear, and hopefully the regulation will also be that emerges in the future will be for the support of the overall cryptocurrency space, because maybe sometimes we need a little bit of regulation, especially depending on what the company is doing. As you can see here, basically Celsius Network is centralized. If you look at decentralized finance platforms, you can deposit your cryptocurrencies and everything is managed by smart contracts. But then you can also have a centralized company that does everything on your behalf. So you deposit tokens with them and they essentially control them. So that their vault, they can do whatever they want with them. This is another example of a company that overleveraged itself. And not only just overleveraging, but they also bought other synthetic Ethereums that were supposed to be on the staking side of things as they're waiting for Ethereum to merge onto the proof of stake. Anyway, I don't want to get into all those details. Through doing all that, they overleveraged themselves. They risk getting liquidated, and you're going to see an article that we're going to look at. So Celsius Network is pausing all withdrawals, swap, and transfers between accounts. Remember, they're not saying they're pausing deposits. So that's a bit strange. So acting in the interest of our community is our top priority. Our operations continue and we'll continue to share information with the community. I don't mean to underlook this. Of course, I wish this is solved because there is people's money involved in this, and I hope this is actually solved, and I hope the platform does not get liquidated with other platforms within which they've staked and over-leveraged themselves. I hope things actually turn out for the better. Now, this article summarizes it properly. It's a short article, but whatever you're going to get from this article, pick that, apply to pretty much any other cryptocurrency company in this space that's overleveraged. So Celsius races to add more collateral to Maker as a threat to liquidations. This part here is extremely important. Celsius deposited 2,000 wrapped Bitcoin to their collateral throughout the night in attempt to gain more breathing room before their 534 million Maker vault becomes vulnerable to liquidation, guys. This is not funny at all. This is a serious thing. Crypto lending firm Celsius has been racing to the top to top up its collateral on Maker. This is another decentralized platform on Ethereum, a very big platform that leverages their token, which is the Maker token, to do other things. So basically, they have this collateralized to create the stablecoin DAI, called DAI, which is the biggest decentralized stablecoin on the Ethereum network. So Maker DAO, this is essentially what they do. They collateralize to create these, and then they do other things to do with DeFi. So crypto lending firm Celsius has been racing to top up its collateral on Maker to raise the asset's liquidation price, and the company added just over 2,000 wrapped Bitcoin to its collateral on June 14th, depositing 1,501.77 wrapped Bitcoin and 499.99 wrapped Bitcoin to its vault. So Celsius narrowly avoids WBTC liquidation. A quick collateral top-up has saved Celsius from a mass liquidation that could have had devastating effects on the company and the entire market. So struggling with the liquidity crisis induced by the depegging of the synthetic Ethereum, so a mirror of the token, which is now less valuable than the actual Ethereum. So these are some of the problems you get when you overleverage yourself. Just like with Terra Luna situation, people had the UST token, the stablecoin, the so-called stablecoin, which is obviously not stable, and they kept leveraging it through different loops to try and tap different rewards from different platforms, because you could leverage your UST, get another UST as you're earning reward from that. You're using this to reward here, then you deposit on another platform, you borrow. So that kind of greed led to this. So if you look at it objectively, subjectively, whatever, you can see that the market was kind of over-leveraged. So struggling with the liquidity crisis induced the depegging of the synthetic Ethereum and Ethereum. Celsius became vulnerable and to another liquidation. So this time of its massive leverage on Maker protocol. Celsius has opened a loan on Maker to provide low rate borrowing for its users by putting in around 20,000 Bitcoin as collateral. So on June 13th, the platform had just over 479 million in collateral locked on Maker. The position would begin to liquidate once Bitcoin reached 20,272, guys. That's quite scary, as it put Celsius in danger of failing to repay its debt. So the same day, Celsius deposited another 4,041.48 Bitcoin to its vault, lowering its liquidation price to under 20,300. So however, the rapidly dropping prices have pushed the BTC down to critical levels, falling below 21,000 resistance level. So at multiple points throughout the day, Bitcoin's price was just several percent away from triggering liquidations on Celsius's position. Very scary. Celsius has topped up its collateral again to buy more time and stave off the liquidations as much as possible, adding 1,501.77 WBTC and another BTC in two back-to-back transactions. So if you're deposited on the Celsius network, keep your fingers crossed. I hope everything works out properly. I hope you guys don't get liquidated, because that will not be good. So adding 2,000 Bitcoin more has bought Celsius quite a bit of time. The liquidation price of its Bitcoin collateral now stands at 16,852. So they've extended themselves a little leeway, hoping that people do not continue selling Bitcoin, at least to somehow save this. The community has a lot of control, so people should really not panic. Otherwise, this whole thing will just get worse. It will get worse before it gets worse before it gets worse. So I think the community has a bit of control. I mean, generally, if people analyze what's going on in the crypto space. So just over 24% below the current price of Bitcoin. Celsius' latest addition brings its position to a 191.98% collateralization ratio, with the platform now having over 23,962 Bitcoin in collateral locked, or $534.7 million. Band-aids don't fix bullet holes. Despite its last-ditch efforts to stave off liquidation, Celsius is still in deep trouble. Celsius has suspended withdrawals, swaps, transfers among accounts to deal with the crisis. However, the move has only served to spark more fear in the community and caused a massive dip in the value of its native token Cell. So many have criticized its decision to top up its collateral instead of paying back its loan on Maker. So saying that it could have used the additional collateral to repay any number of its outstanding loans. Some have argued that adding additional collateral meant that the platform could not pay back the loan, and that it took the little solvency that had left and gambled it. So Celsius lender market. So this person just breaks down this: to get a $1 worth of value, you need to pay $1.5. Obviously, that doesn't work. So you do it if you can actually repay. If you're a degenerate gambler taking the little solvency you have left and putting it all on black, hoping to make it all back in one trade, that's not how cryptocurrencies work. Especially in the bear market, if prices are collapsing, you don't want to do things that look like you're panicking. Otherwise, in the end, you lose out. So I think they should try and play this carefully, but ultimately, fingers crossed, and I hope that things work out positively for these people. So this is the current price of the Celsius token. I guess when they deposited that money, it went all the way from 18 cents to $1. Guys, this is kind of strange, but okay. Then it retraced back. So things are looking strange. And that is how the bear markets work. So in more positive news though, we have Splice and Binance enter a partnership to offer ride-hailing services and experiences on the Binance marketplace. Now I'm not going to read all of this, but I remember a tweet from CZ Binance, who's the head of Binance, said that you don't actually need to convert your crypto into fiat. You can just, if you have the Binance app, you can straight away ride hail and convert these guys. This is what we call real world use cases of cryptocurrencies, and we see companies that are serving an actual useful role as we move forward. Okay, and I won't say much about that. If you're a company out there, a developer, watch this space and make sure you develop products that actually people want to use or that are useful in this space. If you see a problem, you're developing a solution to that problem and not the other way around. Don't create a solution to a problem that doesn't exist, or don't create a problem and try to create a solution. There has to be a problem in the market, then you create a product to try and fix that problem. At least that's how most companies do it. Unless you're innovating something like touch screens with Apple and so on. So the MTLX DEX, in other positive news, which is one of the centralized exchanges that were organized by one of the teams from the Fetch.AI ecosystem, has announced that it's going to move to the Fetch.AI mainnet, which is pretty cool because we're also going to see another update of Fetch.AI where they upgrade to the latest Cosmos software development kit. Now, of course, there will be low gas fees on the Fetch blockchain. It will be running on the Cosmos inter-blockchain communication on the Cosmos SDK, which means they will be enable IBC inter-blockchain communication and all the other sort of products that are being developed around that space. I mean, the blockchain is growing. We saw there's a social media platform developed on them. There's other platforms that are coming in the future. There's Mobix built on them, which is Move to Earn. Some of the most bullish, should I say, things that people are looking at as innovations in the crypto space. So that's interesting. Then in other interesting news and bullish news, Chainlink on-chain activity ramps up after news of improved staking system. So Chainlink is one of the best weekly performers with an 8.6% price increase after announcing their improved economic model. Guys, I'm not here to talk about speculation on prices, but rather the products that these people are innovating. They're pretty cool. Chainlink is one of the tokens you have to look at for data oracle. They're basically the leaders in that space, and they've integrated with other companies. I've done a video about them. You can see some of the other integrations with Polygon Matic. They are given examples with the Celsius network. It's unfortunate that Celsius is going through what it's going through now, but Chainlink ultimately is a decentralized network, and anyone can tap into their resources in whichever way, shape, or form if they want to really have this data reliability. And they have this proof of reserve thing that they're working on, where you can actually have proof. For example, with the synthetic Ethereum and the actual Ethereum, if you're using Chainlink data feeds, then you should be able to have that. Oh, indeed, there is proof of the Ethereum that mirrors this synthetic Ethereum. So Chainlink, this is new Chainlink news, improving their proposals. You can go ahead and read about them if you're interested in seeing how this whole thing works, but they've been doing some interesting developments during the bear market. So guys, these are another metric you want to look out for. As there's extreme negative news, what companies are building? What companies are further establishing themselves and are getting stronger and are ready to rise as phoenixes in this market? Seriously, because you're putting your money on the line. So you have to look out for these things. Now, on the bullish news on the Cosmos station, posted by the Cosmos station itself, Fetch.AI network will be halted in 1 hour due to scheduled version 0.10.4 upgrade. So mintscan.io, this is where you can check your transactions and other things, other details. The IBC wallet service will be back up live once updated. Please stay patient. Your assets are safe. Okay. And this was the proposal. Fetch.AI proposal, this and that. That's the address. Upgrade execution. It is a consensus breaking upgrade that will leverage the current governance proposal and hold the chain at block 6,295,500, estimated around June 14th. So that was, within this time frame. That upgrade is happening, and you want more details about that, there's a link here. I'm going to post this link also in the description. This is a consensus breaking release. It will be applied via a software upgrade governance proposal. It brings the latest Cosmos software development kit and Tendermint patches along a security patch for the Cosmos ecosystem. So a security patch they're placing there, and other details. If you're a developer, you may want to look into these things if you want to understand more how they work. And then lastly, the consensus event happened in Texas. Consensus 2022 Web3 and parking regulations and optimism for the crypto future. I guess it happened. I don't know much to say about this. I'm just seeing some quotes about stepping and all that. But we had different companies. I guess they went and had conversations out there, and we'll see as the space moves along. We'll see updates from different companies to see their discussions in consensus. So we're waiting for different updates from all the companies, all the people that were there in different spheres, different walks of life. Please update us on your experience in consensus. Do you actually learn something? Did you make some interesting partnerships? What did you learn out there? Would love to know for those that were not there. All right, guys, I hope you learned something in today's video, quite short, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.